Sydney is a fantastic place, and it's never going to be completed if you don't come to Sydney's Circular Quays. Obviously, this is one of the iconic spots in the world, not just in Australia. And look at this side. I came to the Circular Quays train station, and from here you get the best view from the platform, because on the left hand side you get to see the Sydney Bridge, as in my background, Sydney Harbour Bridge. What a fantastic view, isn't it? This is the Circular Quays, and that is rock, and all the ferries to various places like Manly, Parramatta, they're leaving from this side. And what a majestic sight this is. From the platform you don't get to see the Opera House that clearly, but the view of the Sydney Harbour Bridge is just extraordinary. All these ferries and these views, always mesmerizing. The ferries coming in, going out, they're just pretty spectacular. It's very warm, and today it is a very beautiful day, and we're going to take some couple of rides on some ferries, local ferries, and that will be always fascinating, and today it won't be any exception. It will be very nice taking ferries in Sydney and going somewhere like Manly or Parramatta. It's not that expensive. You can travel on Opal card, but it is always a beautiful journey on Sydney Harbour. We'll be going to Watsons Bay, and that is going to be a very beautiful journey, Rose Bay and Watsons Bay on a ferry. And so let's join us, and this will be a very beautiful journey. So we are on board the Watsons Bay Ferry, and it's not going to be a very long ride. It's a short ride, but it's always very spectacular because it's a fascinating place. So many ferries are leaving at the same time, and today it's high pressure, so it's not very bumpy. It's quite calm, so it will be a very pleasant ride on Sydney Harbour. Let's join us. What a beautiful journey this is. It's just extraordinary. We always enjoy riding on these Sydney ferries and watching Sydney Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge together in one frame is just the best. This is Vaucluse, the most expensive suburb in Sydney. This whole area is Vaucluse, and we're stopping at a stop called Rose Bay. The whole bay is Rose Bay. This is Sydney Seaplanes Terminal. Now we can see Sydney Skyline once again, because we're coming out of Rose Bay, and you can see the Sydney Harbour Bridge once again. What a spectacular sight this is. That was an amazing ride to the Watson Bay. From Circular Quays, finally we came to Watson Bay, and that ferry ends here, and which again goes back to Circular Quays. And what a spectacular journey that was into the Rose Bay and coming out of Rose Bay, and the Sydney Skyline and the Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge was just mesmerizing. The ferry, that's the ferry that we came in, and it's leaving again for Circular Quays. And we can see the top of the Harbour Bridge over that bush, and the Sydney Skyline is completely visible from the Watson Bay. A couple of minutes walk, a very short walk from the ferry terminal will bring you to this gap lookout, and that will give you a fascinating view of the bays and Sydney Harbour, and also there is a lighthouse that you can see. Look at the view from Watson Bay, the whole Sydney skyline is visible. Look at the view, it is so spectacular. This is Sydney Harbour National Park, Gap Bluff. Look at Sydney's rugged rock cliffs. What a beautiful, spectacular rock formation. These rocks almost looks like huge tiles, so symmetrical. And this side, it is just unbelievably spectacular. This is called Gap Lookout. Wow, what a view. Look at these rocks at the Sydney's coastline at Gap Lookout. What a beautiful sight that is. Look at the view, Sydney skyline from the Gap Lookout. Look at this side from this Gap Lookout. You can see the Sydney Harbour Bridge, the whole Sydney skyline, and on the same frame you have this bluff, this rock formation. What a spectacular formation, isn't it? The rock looks like very porous. And we have this spectacular lighthouse visible from this lookout as well. For last half an hour we have been walking at this Gap Lookout, and the Sydney's view is so spectacular we can't stop taking photos and videos. And we're coming down now, and look at the view in our background here. The whole Sydney skyline is so spectacular and totally visible, and it has been an amazing journey this time, and the weather is so gorgeous today, so the view can't be any clearer. There is a cargo ship leaving Sydney Harbour, and what a spectacular view at the backdrop of that cargo ship. So this whole bay area in our front where the cargo ship is leaving is basically the Watson Bay, and the whole suburb is Vaucluse, and this rock formation is so spectacular. I don't know what that purpose is, but that boat is spraying water. Normally they spray water if they welcome a big cruise ship or a special warship like HMS Sydney. Looks like a very celebratory spraying, but I don't know the reason. At least I could capture it. It was a spectacular view. I think probably they're welcoming that boat. Should be a new boat or a special arrival, and that sort of scenarios they spray these water cannons as a celebration of welcoming a new boat to the harbor. What a spectacular view, isn't it? The whole skyline at the backdrop, that new ship is arriving and they're spraying water cannons. We had that amazing view from that gap lookout, and we came down, and before our ferry, next ferry is about 20 minutes away, so we came to a gelato shop and we're going to try some gelato because it's now around 25 degrees. It's pretty hot in Sydney. It became very sunny, and so gelato could be the perfect for this condition. This is Watsons Bay Gelatissimo. So we're getting one scoop of salted macadamia and dolce di latte.
Would you like a
Free waffle? Yeah, one. Yeah, we'll have one free waffle. And our other scoop is the mango sorbet. This was an amazing ferry ride from Circular Quays to Watsons Bay. We went up to that gap lookout, complemented with this Italian gelato. It was a perfect day. These guys are rolling those big ropes and we are almost ready to leave for Circular Quays. I don't like the bumpy rides, but because it's very calm today, fairly flat surface, so I'm enjoying these rides. Look at what a spectacular sight in Ornima's background. Probably stopping at Rose Bay, and on the left hand side we have the Circular Quays, the Sydney Skyline, and on the other hand we have the Sydney Harbour Bridge. That was a pretty extraordinary experience, isn't it?
To the city streets, we began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun. As she puts her hand in